Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at something truly foundational. The encounter Moses has with the burning bush.
Yeah, it's one of those images, isn't it? A bush on fire, but just not burning away. And a voice coming from it. Direct communication.
From the Creator, no less.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that even look like? What does it mean?
Well, the sources we're digging into for this deep dive really focus on this specific story. It lets us try and unpack, why it's had such a lasting impact for millennia.
Exactly. So our mission today is sort of peeling back the layers, getting beyond just the Sunday school version, right? Yeah. Uncovering the deeper insights, the historical significance of this really pivotal moment.
In asking that question, could one event, something so inexplicable, actually change the course of history?
It's a big question, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
Okay, first off, where is Moses at this point in his life? Exodus 3 paints a picture, but maybe not the one people expect.
Right, forget the Prince of Egypt stuff for a moment. He's a shepherd in Midian. It's a total shift from that palace life.
And he's been there a while, a fugitive, really. Been wandering for, 40 years? It's a long time out in the quiet.
40 years that's significant. Decades of relative obscurity, you could say. What's he thinking about during all that time? We don't really know, but it sets the stage.
It does. And it's during this seemingly normal shepherd routine near Mount Horeb, which is called the Mountain of God, interestingly, that something absolutely strange happens. Exodus 3, verse 2 says, "There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush."
And here's the kicker.
Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up.
It's just such a paradox, isn't it? Fire that doesn't consume, it immediately signals, okay, the normal rules don't apply here. This is something else entirely.
You would absolutely stop you in your tracks. I mean, you see fire, you expect destruction, ashes, but here.
It demands attention. It demands investigation. And Moses, naturally, is intrigued. What would you even think seeing that?
I can't even imagine. Like, is this a mirage? Am I losing my mind? But the sources say he decides to go check it out. "I must go over," he says, "and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up."
He walks closer, and that's when it shifts, right? It goes from just observing this weird phenomena
to direct interaction. God calls out, "Moses, Moses."
That repetition, it emphasizes urgency, maybe, importance, and Moses' response, it's simple but profound.
"Here I am, just available, ready, open to whatever this is."
And then comes the instruction, very specific, Exodus 3.5.
"Do not come any closer," God says. "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground."
Wow, so this ordinary spot, just desert ground near a mountain, suddenly it's holy. Why?
Simply because God is present there. It's not the ground itself, it's the divine presence consecrating it, making it sacred.
That tells you something about how the divine interacts with our world, doesn't it? It can make any place holy ground.
It transforms the mundane, and it's clear this isn't just a light show. It's not just, hey, look at this cool trick. There's a purpose.
A massive purpose, as it turns out.
Yeah, this isn't just a quick chat. God lays out this huge mission for Moses.
Huge is an understatement. Go to Pharaoh, the most powerful guy around, and tell him to let your people go. The enslaved Israelites.
I mean, talk about a daunting task. So Moses' reaction, it feels very real, very human.
Absolutely. Exodus 3.11 quotes him directly. "But Moses said to God, 'Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?'"
That hits home, doesn't it? That feeling of, who me? Have you ever felt that way when facing something huge? That sense of just not being enough?
I think everyone has at some point. You look at the task, you look at yourself, and you think, I'm not the person for this job. It's a deeply relatable moment.
It really is. But what's key here, and the text makes this clear, is that
God doesn't seem too focused on Moses' self-assessment.
No, the focus isn't on Moses' resume or his qualifications, is it? It seems to be more about his willingness, his obedience.
And crucially, God doesn't say, okay, figure it out. He makes it clear Moses isn't doing this alone. That's so important. It pivots from Moses thinking about his own limits to realizing there's divine backing here, support, power beyond his own.
Which leads right into maybe the most profound part of this whole encounter.
The name.
Yes. Right when Moses is feeling his most inadequate, asking, "Who am I?" God reveals something fundamental about himself. His name.
I am WHOIM.
It's incredibly powerful.
Exodus 3.12. God said to Moses, I am WHOIM. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you.
What does that even mean? I am, W-H-O-I-M. It's not like other names.
More like a declaration, isn't it, of eternal being, self-existence, unchanging presence. It's basically saying, my existence is the definition of existence.
And telling Moses to use I am as the reference is a promise, right? The eternally present one, the one who has sent you. It's about God's reality, God's power.
It completely shifts the dynamic. Suddenly, it's not about whether Moses is capable. It's about the capability of the one sending him. The name itself is the reassurance.
Infinite power versus human limitations. And that same I am, the sources imply, isn't just some historical name for God back then. That presence, that nature, it's current, it's available.
Which is why this story isn't just, an interesting historical footnote. It connects directly to us today.
Absolutely. That feeling Moses had, who am I? How many times do we feel that when we face big challenges, or maybe even small ones, that just feel overwhelming?
All the time. We feel unqualified, unprepared. We see our weaknesses way more clearly than our strengths sometimes.
And maybe that's the point. There's that idea, you hear sometimes God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called.
Yes. That really resonates with this story. It's not about Moses having it all together before the call. The encounter itself, the commission, the revelation of the name, that's the equipping process starting.
It ties into that whole idea of God's sufficiency, doesn't it?
Right.
Like Paul writes later in 2 Corinthians, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness.
Exactly. It suggests that maybe it's in admitting our weakness, our need, that we actually open the door for a greater power to work. Have you ever seen that play out? Where admitting you can't do it actually leads to something amazing happening.
It's definitely a different way to think about challenges. So for you listening, think about your own life for a second. Have you had any, maybe not literal burning bushes, but moments, times you felt a pull towards something bigger than yourself?
Something that felt significant, maybe a bit scary, maybe something you felt totally unqualified for.
Those moments. Are we ready to actually acknowledge them?
Yeah.
To maybe metaphorically take off our shoes?
Step onto what might be holy ground in our own lives, even if it just looks like an ordinary Tuesday.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the core takeaway seems to be this. God often meets us right where we are, often in our weakness, not just our strength.
And he can empower ordinary people for genuinely extraordinary purposes. Moses' self-doubt, his hesitation, it was real, it was valid maybe from his perspective, but it wasn't the deciding factor.
God's call and God's power were the deciding factors. Moses' initial feelings didn't disqualify him.
Not at all. His willingness to eventually say yes, even hesitantly, was what mattered.
So the final thought to leave you with, after digging into this incredible burning bush encounter, what looks ordinary in your life right now? What circumstance, what place, what task might actually hold the potential for your own extraordinary calling, if you're willing to look closer?
Something to think about.